Welcome to another OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube live powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe on the board. Football's back. Bye week is over. I don't think I would call it bye week, Parker. It was definitely not without its in-season and even, recruiting. Like all sorts of stuff was going on during that bye week. It was not your normal bye week where you think you're going to take some time off. No. Not when you cover the University of Oklahoma. That is not allowed. We're going to talk about the recruiting, obviously, as Oklahoma picked up another big commitment tonight, flipping former Tulane commit, now Oklahoma commit, Brayden Allen, wide receiver. Big get for Oklahoma. They've been working on that. Among a bunch of other teams have been trying to get him as well. We're going to talk about what's left for 2026. If you're on OU Insider, you saw my report earlier this week. There's a long list of things that are going on with 2026 as Oklahoma looks to finish off that class, and there's going to be some surprises. I'm going to tell you all that. We'll talk about all that. We'll answer your super chat questions. We will talk about John Mateer, Hawkins, Michael Hawkins, all of the above. But before we do all that, Parker, thank our sponsors.
Yes, let's get the bills paid, folks. Riverwind Casino is our presenting sponsor. You know where it's at, right off of I-35, Highway 9. It's been the Metro's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now, almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars, and dining options, plus the best live music in the OKC area. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. Also, a shout to Jaden Knt, proud partner of OU Athletics, and the greatest team to ever clean, delivering spotless results and solutions from stadiums to any size business across the country. Check out which of their solutions is right for you or your business by going to janiking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, a word from Brunt. Folks, if you work a blue-collar job, as so many in the state of Oklahoma do, or if you're just outside frequently, outdoors working in the yard, working land if you own land, one thing you're going to want to make sure you have, one thing you're going to make certain you have on hand is a pair of Brunt's Marin work boots. I'm going to figure out how to talk by the end of the night, Brandon. I'll do it. But Brunt's Marin work boots. Brunt's Marin work boots, folks. Get to know the name, get to know the brand, because these are no doubt the most comfortable work boots I've ever worn. I have to go out in the yard tomorrow morning and plant 3 trees, and I would be wearing my Brunt work boots while I'm doing it. They felt comfortable right out of the box, no long, painful break-in like all those other brands. But they're not just comfortable, they're built to perform. Whether you need waterproof, safety toe, soft toe, pull-on, lace-up, they've got options that can handle whatever job site you're walking into. And Brunt stands behind what they make. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, send them back. I don't know any other brand doing that. That's a company that believes in their product. And right now, for a limited time, our listeners are going to get $10 off at Brunt when you use code OU Insider at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com, use the code OU Insider, and you're good to go. Again, bruntworkwear.com, code OU Insider. After you order, they'll ask where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor. Tell them it was the boys at OU Insider with the Under the Visor podcast and OU Insider Live.
All right. I guess let's start. Let's not bury the lead, and let's talk about Brayden Allen because he is the news of the night. Obviously, Oklahoma landing the 3-star wide receiver commit. That's wide receiver number 3 in the class, joining Okufluwezi, obviously, ZZ Okufluwezi out of Tulsa or Owasso, Rejoice Christian, 3-star wide receiver, and obviously Daniel Odom, right? I believe is the other one that Oklahoma is on the 4-star commit. He's been around for so long that you forget about him because he went from being somebody that you thought was going to flip at some point to just Mr. Consistent in the class. Like, you don't hear a lot about him. He's back every chance he can get. He's just quiet. He's there. He's exactly what people around the program kind of said he was when everybody else was rumoring him going elsewhere or looking around. They're like, no, not worried about that at all. And you can see why at this point. So wide receiver number 3 And I don't know that they're done. I'll say that. I think there's some chances for Oklahoma to work some more magic in the 2026 class as far as wide receiver goes. And they most certainly are not done with that class. Guys, talked to somebody the other day. I think this was commit 20, right? Number 20 in the class for Oklahoma. You could potentially see 5 or 6 more high school players pop in this class.
Yeah, he very well could. Oklahoma's going to be in the market down the stretch for some serious flips, some
Big
big
time.
time flips,
Yeah.
big time flips. In addition to pursuing a couple of guys that are still uncommitted in Daniel McMorris, the 3-star offensive tackle from Norman North, and then 4-star linebacker Jacob Curry from down in St. Augustine, Florida at Nice High School. Hey, shout out to Paul Thompson, who's in the YouTube chat right now. That's a Sooner legend of years gone by. Man, that was one of that's maybe the earliest full season of OU football that I can recall watching and being a part of and witnessing from afar was the Paul Thompson year of OU football in 2006. Obviously, Adrian Peterson broke his collarbone that year. I have faint memories of the '03 national championship game, '04-'05 seasons, but the first season that I can clearly recall following OU football would have been 2006. And Paul Thompson was holding it down at the quarterback position for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out, Paul. We do have a couple of super chats. And folks, if you're new around here and you're not familiar with the regular rhythm, super chats automatically get bumped to the top of the queue. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, you need your question answered, you want your opinion heard, send it to us in super chat form. You can attach a contribution of any amount. It's completely up to you, but that'll ensure that your question, your chat gets bumped to the top of our queue, and we promise to answer every single super chat over the course of the stream. Showtime 409 said, "What's the O-line health look like going into Saturday?"
Good. It actually looks good.
As it should, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've had a week off, get some bodies right. Michael Fasusi, most notably. Um, He was active for that Auburn game. He didn't start, played a couple of drives. It was mostly Logan Howland out there at left tackle. But anybody that watched the Michigan game, I think, understands Michael Fasusi is the guy that gives you the best chance to win as of right now at left
Mm-hmm.
tackle. So getting that guy back up to speed is going to be crucial heading into the Texas game.
Yeah, this is look. I was asking somebody that just, I guess, a day or two ago about the offensive line and where everything stood, and my biggest question was, how do you do practices right now? Like they were going into Auburn. I think people want to sit there and say, well, they were close to being healthy. Yeah, as they got closer to the game, they were healthy enough to play, healthy enough to practice, and healthy enough to play on a Saturday are two separate situations that I think it's hard for sometimes fans to understand that. And so I asked and I said, man, look, how do you do that? Like, how do you conduct the practice in the way that you want to conduct it in the manner in which you're going to help an offensive line get cohesiveness, be physical enough that you're preparing for the game and still refrain from injury? And they said it's a balance, but ultimately they just said you can't. Not in the situation Oklahoma was in the last few weeks with offensive line. Like they were severely banged up to where they couldn't risk these guys practicing in the way that they needed to practice. The bye week was huge, huge from a standpoint of now they're back. They were able to go through the bye week practices, be more physical, be able to build that cohesive. Now you're in, probably day 10. Come the season, come the Friday. It'll be around day 10, Parker, where they're actually full blown practicing. I think what uh, Jake Taylor and Jake Sexton are the two that are essentially, and obviously Troy Everett are the guys that are kind of you don't expect to do a whole heck of a lot, or they're not going to play. Though
Mm.
I wouldn't write off of Jake Sexton return. And when he does return, that's exciting for people around the program because that's more help. It's a leader. Like that leadership, I think, is people want to talk about Jake Sexton all the time, and maybe they get frustrated with him, and that's their opinion, whatever. It's different inside that locker room, Parker. You know that as much as I do. Like, he's revered inside that locker room to the point because of how smart he is, how hard and how much he loves the university. And ultimately, you can play him everywhere. Outside of center, you can play that dude anywhere and everywhere, and he will be more than serviceable for you no matter where you play him because he's a good player. Um, just hasn't been able to stay healthy, unfortunately. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
biggest knock on him.
And as Brent Venables has said many a time, availability is
He's
the
the
best
best.
ability.
Yeah.
And fortunately, Oklahoma has a lot of guys right now that are available. And we'll see if John Mateer is ready for that Texas game. You would think with the competitor that he is, if it's up to him, he's going to play that football game. Question
Mm-hmm.
is it up to him at the end of the day? Is it completely up to John Mateer? And how quickly does that recovery happen? Now, a $5 super chat from Daryl Revels. And by the way, for those in the chat that are complaining about the ad rolls over the course of the live video, yeah, apologize for those. That's not within our control. Take that one up with YouTube. We have no, that is not within our purview to adjust. So apologies if that's something you're dealing with. It is what it is, unfortunately. Nothing we can do on this end. Daryl says Bama was the gold standard for well over a decade. Do you believe we will see another dynastic run in the NIL era? Frankly, Daryl, I think the answer is no. And, to me, that doesn't have to do as much with NIL as it just does with. I mean, I don't think what Nick Saban accomplished at Alabama is very replicable in the modern era anyway. Money or no money, especially given that it happened in the 21st century in the internet era where there's better distribution of talent across the country than there ever has been before because you can't
Mm-hmm.
keep recruits under the radar when everybody has access to their tape via the interwebs. Then, man, naturally there's going to be an ebb and flow and everything is going to be cyclical. And I don't know that we're ever going to see another college football program win 6 national championships in 12 years. Now, you may have teams that put together a run like Alabama did in terms of college football playoff appearances or national championship game appearances. I mean, even Clemson, right? When Brent Venables was there, Clemson went to 6 straight college football playoffs between 2015 and 2020. That may happen, but it's one thing to get to the playoff, it's another thing to win it all. And I don't know if we're ever going to see another team win it all 6 out of 12 years.
Yeah. No, the Nick Saban days are done. You would love to see Oklahoma have one of those runs. They're trying to replicate. Obviously, Jim Nagy was around Belichick, was around Saban and all that throughout his career. Understands how they went about evaluating for talent. And speaking of, can we just props for props due? One, we talked about it earlier last week. Matthew Nelson turns out to be is turning out to be a very, very good eval. Um, Caden Penny looks like he's about to be a 5-star. He is now the 26th overall composite player on On3, and he's a 5-star on 24/7. Gabriel Osborne is the number 303 player in the nation now in 2027 out of Mustang, Oklahoma. If you haven't watched Gabriel Osborne, take that treat up. Go to my YouTube, or no, excuse me, my YouTube, my Twitter. You can go up to the little search bar and you can type in Gabriel Osborne Jr. and it'll pull up his highlights from last week. Parker, did you see those highlights?
He looks good, man.
Oh my God.
He looks good. And
They
man,
have him 75th overall,
yeah, I mean, the
24/7 games.
storyline is not going to, it's not going anywhere. It's something we're going to continue to
No.
talk about. But Oklahoma can string together a really strong nucleus in the class of 2027 if they just stay hot within state lines
Yeah.
and manage to lock down guys early, like Gabriel Osborne or like Case Alexander. Ben Kolar is another one that comes to mind. I mean, feels like Titus Hawk is maybe a little bit more of a stretch, but I think there's a world where Oklahoma, by the end of the calendar year, has 2 or 3 more in-state commits in the
Yeah.
2027 cycle. That's not out of the realm
Yep.
of possibility at all. We got a $2 contribution from Eric Grider. No question, just $2. Thank you, sir. The Green Arrow tossed us $5 and said, if the run game doesn't show more improvements, how much longer does DeMarco last, considering what Gundy was able to do when he was running backs coach?
I mean, so if the running backs don't show improvement, but Kel Gundy was an amazing running backs coach. I will never, ever, ever say anything other than he was elite. You saw Joe Mixon, right? I mean, DeMarco, Adrian Peterson, Alan Patrick, the list goes on and on and on. And he did that. Go look at all the NFL talent they had on the offensive line during those years as well. That is the game changer. Look at DeMarco the first, 3 years he was the running back coach at Oklahoma. They had 1,000, sometimes 1,000 yard rushing guys. You know, the offensive line makes a difference. Like being able to run the ball makes it. Eric Gray ran 1,500 yards in 2022. In 2023, Gavin Sawchuk had 800 yards in the last 6 games of the season because that was a awesome offensive line. They were injured up to that point at the running back spot. When he got healthy, it took off. Look at 2021. Would they have Kennedy Brooks, right? Who else was on that running? Who was running back with Kennedy Brooks on that team?
Eric Gray. Eric Gray was the
Eric Gray. Yeah, they were really good. 2020, Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, come on now. And even a blast from the past, a name that will probably go down as one of the biggest boneheads to ever play at Oklahoma. Mikey Henderson was pretty good running the rock too when he got it in 2020. So like, offensive line makes a difference, Parker. Makes a big difference. Now, if the offensive line's opening holes up, like massive holes, and the running backs aren't showing improvement and they're not hitting the hole, I'm with you. There's got to be something happen.
There'll be a reckoning at some point if Oklahoma's run game continues to flounder for a third straight season. And look, obviously at a certain point, you have to look at DeMarco Murray. And you have to look at everything. You have to point all the way to the top and ask what's been the common denominator. And okay, the common denominator has been DeMarco Murray. So if we get to the end of the 2025 season, we're still seeing these same issues with the run game at Oklahoma, okay, then we have a conversation on our hands. But we're 4 games in. The Sooners are 4-0. They haven't been elite at running the ball by any means. They haven't been terrible at it. They've had decent success. Let's see how things play out in SEC play before we label the Jaden Knt experiment a failure. Well, I think we may be able to put that label on sooner rather than later. I think if we don't see him, and this kind of rolls into another big time super chat from Tyler Claiborne, who asked, "Are we going to get Jaden Knt this weekend? I need some good news in the running game for my birthday today, boys." Hey, happy birthday, Tyler!
Happy birthday!
We should be giving you a birthday gift, but you have given us one with that $50 super chat. So thank you so much. Are you going to get Jaden Knt this weekend? Yes. The question is how much. And frankly, Brandon, I think that's going to be dictated by how invested Jaden Knt seems to look out there.
Yeah, I mean,
this is his last chance. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it like it is. This is Jaden Knot's last chance to prove that he's going to give something to Oklahoma, that he's going to contribute something to that backfield picture. Because if it doesn't happen against Kent State, he's just buried on that depth chart the rest of the year.
So I agree with you. I asked, and that's why I asked, obviously, Ben Arbuckle that question at the presser. He hasn't. I said he hasn't looked, locked in. You could see the body language, all that. And he basically said that's not who he's been the last few weeks. He's locked in. He's had the best practices that he's had since coming to Oklahoma. You're seeing a different Jaden Knt during the bye week. He, followed that up with really strong practice on Monday. Obviously, we don't know what he did Tuesday or whatever, Wednesday, but getting a full week plus of good practices out of him. It sounds like they're starting to get the idea that they're going to use him some on Saturday. It would be kind of awesome to watch him break out. I'm not going to lie, because honestly, the run game outside of Mateer and at times Torrey Blaylock has been lackluster. And I think maybe it is a lot of pressure on, okay, well, this superstar, we pushed out a guy that was very similar in running style in Gavin Sawchuk for this guy. Now you're not playing him after you said he would have been one of the top picks in the draft had he come out, all that type of talk. I think there's some pressure, Parker, to make this work. Do you not agree with that?
There is some pressure to make it work, but at the same time, there's no pressure like the pressure to win games
For
at the
sure.
University of Oklahoma. And so what I respect is that this coaching staff seems determined to just operate this thing as a meritocracy. I mean, there's a reason Jaden Knt has only gotten 9 carries to this point in the season. It's because, quite frankly, he hasn't earned more than 9 carries this season.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, like if you don't see Jaden Knt take a big leap forward this weekend against Kent State, excuse me, you're just flat out not going to see him the rest of the year. At least not in
Agreed.
any meaningful situations, because when you get into the heart of SEC play against one of the toughest schedules in the country, you're going to play the guys you trust.
Yep.
And Oklahoma's not going to play Jaden Knt if they don't feel like they can trust Jaden Knt. And right now, from everything we've seen so far, with his usage or lack thereof, we can safely conclude that the Oklahoma staff does not have the adequate trust in Jaden Knt to trot him out there as a regular cog in that backfield machine. Couple more super chats here. Big Bogue, that's Big Mike Boganowski.
What's up, Bogue?
He tosses $10 and said, "Represent the home of Arbor Day, Parker, and plant those trees." Hey, that's right. That's my fellow Nebraskan right there. I'm gonna plant those trees. All right. Eric Grider gave us $5 and said, "Can we please give Mateer a Heisman-worthy nickname? I nominate the Gambler." I mean, Moneyline Mateer has been a popular one. I like Jackpot Johnny myself. We'll
Oh,
see what
that's
other
really good.
we'll see what other monikers crop up throughout the season as hopefully John Mateer continues to assert himself in that Heisman conversation. And hey, Brandon, I mean, he's not going to get the chance to stat pad this weekend against Kent State,
Mm-mm.
but he's had a couple of what you might consider Heisman moments
Yep.
against Michigan and Auburn. Moments that don't necessarily stand alone. They're not reminiscent of, oh man, like what's an iconic Heisman moment of years gone by?
Johnny
Like
Manziel against Alabama when he
Johnny
bobbled the
Manziel against
ball.
Alabama,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray against Texas, even though
West
they lost
Virginia.
that game,
Yep.
just running around left end, 66 yards to the house. I mean, there there have been some very distinguishable Heisman moments in years past, and I don't know whether John Mateer had one of those against Michigan or one of those against Auburn. When you look at those performances and the way that he played in key moments of the football game, when it comes time for the Heisman voters to cast their ballots, those are the types of moments, those are the types of outcomes that they're going to remember. And so, shoot, especially given that he's going to miss this Kent State game by season's end, John Mateer's statistics may not look as impressive as some
Mm-hmm.
of the other contenders that will be in the mix for the Heisman Trophy. But let's say John Mateer helps Oklahoma navigate this murderer's row of a slate at 10-2, 11-1. Let's say Oklahoma turns in a really, really, really good regular season that has the rest of the country buzzing about their championship prospects by early December. John Mateer is going to get a lot of votes for the Heisman Trophy at that point because
Yeah.
nothing matters more than winning.
Winning cures all. And winning also makes you. That's exactly what the Heisman is. And when you're at the University of Oklahoma, which is just synonymous with the Heisman Trophy, particularly at the quarterback position, um, you have an upper hand on everybody. It comes with the territory. Anytime that you can play above and beyond everybody else, or just you don't have to be like excellent, but just really good at quarterback. at OU, you're at least, at the very least, Parker getting an invite to New York City.
Mm.
At the very least. And that's kind of where he's at right now. So,
By the way,
um,
State 5 stinks. This
go
was
ahead.
not a super chat, but State 5 stinks in the chat says, I've followed recruiting since 2006, and this is close to being the worst. Hey, don't look now. Oklahoma has the number one class in the nation in the 2027 cycle. Just
Whoa,
saying.
whoa, whoa,
Uh,
whoa, 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 whoa. He said this is recruiting's not going well,
I think he was more referring to 2026, which,
but even like if you would have said that in June, I would be on board with that comment. It was bad. But now, like, I don't know, man. I just we've talked about it so much, Parker. Like the front office came in March. They were behind
Mhm.
everybody else. This is where all the late pushes you're going to see. Like it's
yeah.
happening behind the scenes. I wish we
Well,
could say everything that was going on because there's some dogs that they're in on and have a potential to flip.
and I think I'm starting to get the sense, Brandon, that there's going to be quite a bit of roster transformation this offseason. Maybe not like a total 50 player overhaul, because I don't think Oklahoma
Mm.
needs that. But it would seem to me Jim Nagy and company have some guys in mind that they would like to replace, that they would like to rehome, as it were, and replace.
It's just
Because
hard to fathom
yeah, right
number
now
5 team.
Oklahoma has three wide receiver commits. Brayden
Hmm.
Allen, Xavier Okafuleze, and of course Daniel Odom, as we discussed. They're still chatting with Milan Paris. They're
Yep.
still chatting with Jaden Petit. They're still chatting with Davian Gross. And
Hmm.
so if you're looking at taking four, maybe five receivers, to me, that would indicate there are a couple of players in that room to whom Oklahoma would like to show the door.
Uh, hmm. I mean, I could think of a few off the top of my head. I'm sure everybody can at this point. So we have another super chat, I believe, from we have a
Yeah.
couple
Yes, couple
actually.
more. Anita Handjob. Ah, I see what that is. I thought that was a legitimate name. Then I heard it.
I stopped. I read the name and I was like, I'm not reading that. And you got it.
I recognized it a couple seconds too late. Clever.
There's a reason why I pushed you so fast to the.
Anyway, Anita, I'm going to safely assume that's not his or her real name. Says thoughts on the last two wide receiver commits, knowing what flips could happen down the road. Are we turning away better players? Well, again, man, like at this point, if knowing that Oklahoma was willing to say yes to Xavier Okafuleze and Brayden Allen, and that that wasn't going to preclude them from continuing to pursue Milan Paris, Jaden Petit, and or Davian Gross, I don't think they're going to turn any of those guys away. I mean, if they get two, they might turn the third away just for the sake of numbers at that point. But to me, and I don't know how they would manage it because I don't even know if you can realistically plan on getting all three.
No.
But to me, those are three dudes that you take all day and twice on Sunday. Like, if those guys want to commit to the University of Oklahoma, you will find a way to get them on board. You will find a way to make the numbers work. And so I don't think Oklahoma, like, I don't think Jaden Petit, for instance, is ever going to pick up the
Yeah.
phone, call the University of Oklahoma and be like, I want in. And Jim Nagy is going to say, actually, man, we don't have the space. We're not taking you. Sorry. They'll make it work.
Yeah. So I think the stance right now that they're saying is that it's first come, first serve. But I mean, I don't like you said, I don't know that you could sit there and say, like, I think the guy that will probably drag their feet the longest, regardless of how bad Florida is probably Davion Gross, just because of how he operated. I don't, maybe I'm naive, Parker. I don't know, but the way he operated during his original recruitment before he committed makes me feel like it's going to be kind of a slugfest behind the scenes no matter what. I don't think Florida. Okay, let's say this. If Florida loses to Texas this weekend, is Billy out of a job?
It's over. It's over at that point.
Okay. Now, at that point, I could sit there. I would probably say he'll probably jump ship because no matter if it's about money or whatever, I'll just say it at this point because there was a lot of, I guess, quietness coming from the gross side originally. I was told flat out that if OU had gotten a chance to talk to him before he went public, they would have matched and probably went past the NIL that Florida threw, but they didn't get the chance to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Oklahoma's going to be willing to play ball no matter what there. I think they feel like he is a no-brainer, have to have. So do you believe, though, for sure that Petite, let's say Petite drags, let's say Gross commits, and let's say Milan Paris commits, right? And Petite comes in National Signing Day. You think they would just take him?
Yes, I sure
Okay.
would.
Oh, he's
That
having a
cat,
hell of a
Brandon.
year. No doubt. No
That
doubt.
cat is 6'4", 215 pounds, and through 4 games as a senior, he has 29 catches for 716 yards and 12 touchdowns. I am taking him no matter what the cost is.
No, I agree. Do you do that over a transfer that may be able to come in
Yes.
and play? Okay.
Yeah, I think you do. Mostly because, I mean, all the transfer wideouts that you brought in this past offseason are going to be back, right? Like the only one that ages out is Keontae Lewis. And so
Which
that
sucks because he's having such a good year.
he is, man. He's been good. So I mean, like that this past offseason was an offseason where you needed an overhaul with transfers specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Oklahoma is going to be in a position at season's end where, with only Deion Burks and Keontae Lewis in all likelihood moving on, they're going to have to go grab transfers to buttress their wide receiver group. I think you can just take a heavy class of freshmen and be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they're returning a whole heck of a lot of guys on at wide receiver. That's very, very true. I'll dang it. My super chat went away there. All right. Uh,
Denton
oh,
Russell. We have
yeah,
a
Denton
$2 one
Russell.
from
Yep.
Denton Russell, who said, "How long do you think BV wears the DC hat?" Hopefully a good long time, because the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
I, I
Well,
I wouldn't prefer to have anybody calling defense at the University of Oklahoma over Brent Venables.
what if I told you others do call defense? They are calling quarters. Like he doesn't. When BV said it was a group thing, like that's legitimately it's a group thing.
Yeah, and I mean this
He
defensive
calls most
staff.
of the plays, no doubt. But
Yeah, I mean, and if that's the case, don't mess with it. Like this defensive staff has been together for 4 years now. The only position on that defensive staff where there has been turnover is at linebackers coach. Ted Roof to Zach Alley to now Nate Dreiling with Wes Goodwin helping out with the Cheetahs. Brandon Hall, Jay Valai, Todd Bates, Miguel Chavis. Those are OGs on Venable's staff. Those are guys that have been here since the beginning, been working together since the beginning. And so to me, if this is what's working here in 2025, this is the recipe, whatever it looks like, don't screw with it. Don't mess up a good thing.
I'm with you. If you were gonna pick one, would you say Brandon Hall?
Brandon Hall or Todd Bates. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
guys that have been with him the longest for
Yep.
sure.
Daryl Revels tossed us another $10. He
He's
said,
back.
I feel like he gave a Lincoln Riley-ish answer to the question. If OU's success continues this year, do we see Arbuckle take a head coaching job after the season, or does he stick around after one? Or does he stick around one more year?
I think he sticks. I don't think he wants to leave right now. I think he and his family just got situated. And yeah, I can see where OU fans feel like he's from West Texas. They sound a lot alike. There's a lot of the same background, all that. So there's some PTSD with OU fans when it comes to that type of talk, but I think he's legitimate. Like he feels that way. Like he is all in with Oklahoma right now. You have to also understand, like he grew up wanting to coach at Oklahoma, wanting to be
Yeah.
around Oklahoma. That's
Well,
where his wife wants to be.
and
Like there's a
here's
lot
the way I
going on.
look at it. Here's the way I look at it. A guy like him, he's 30 years old,
He's got time.
well ahead of the curve, right?
Hmm.
Like how many guys, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. In fact, I think it's quite likely that Ben Arbuckle will have schools wanting to hire him as their head coach at the end of this season at 30. How many 30-year-olds have ever been in a position like that? How many guys have flown so high so quickly that at 30 years old, they're garnering head coaching interest? It doesn't
He's ahead of
happen.
Riley.
And so, look, he is not in a position where he has to jump at the first opportunity or he would be well advised to jump at the first opportunity. He can be picky. He
Hmm.
can be really picky at this point. And so there are 5 jobs right now in the Power Four that are open, or I should say that will be open at season's end because it's an interesting situation out there at Stanford where Frank Reich is their interim coach for 1 year, and then they're going to hire a permanent guy come December, right? So you have Stanford, you have Virginia Tech, you have UCLA, you have Oklahoma State, and you have Arkansas. I don't think Ben Arbuckle, even if offered the job, would take it at UCLA, at Oklahoma State, or at Virginia Tech. If he were offered the job at Arkansas,
Yeah.
that is a job that I feel like with the resources and the backing that he would have, as well as probably a great degree of autonomy to do what he wants in terms of staffing and in terms of just establishing a vision, that's the type of job that I could see Ben Arbuckle taking.
Hmm.
But you have to imagine that Arkansas's search is probably going to start with Rhett Lashley. They will probably get told no by Rhett Lashley, and they will probably want to do what they did with John Calipari on the basketball side, which is swing big and find a new head coach with a name that people know. There's a
It's gonna be
reason why,
Summerall.
yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I know his name has been mentioned at Oklahoma State as well, but like John Gruden would be the type of hire that Arkansas would probably go and make over a guy like Ben
Yeah.
Arbuckle.
Yeah.
Arkansas wants to make a big time hire, just like they did with basketball a year ago, bringing in Calipari. And Arbuckle would be a great hire, I think, for any
Hmm.
P4 program. But in all actuality, that's not what a fan base such as the Razorback fan base would regard as a big time hire.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say was just I think they're looking for, and this is just me watching, Trey Biddy and the rest of the Arkansas. I have a from a arm's length invested interest because it's obviously it's where my wife's from and my in-laws are from, so I pay attention to it probably more than I should. Um, but yeah, I think overall it's John Gruden was a name that came up even before Pittman got offered the job and took the job. Remember that back, like that was a name that was in the Arkansas circles originally. So them circling back to that would be interesting. Um, who, if I was them, who I'd kick the tires. I don't know that he would leave Arizona State for it, but Kenny Dillingham was somebody I would go hard on. Let's just say that there is some buzz, and I haven't heard it from anybody that is close to Dillingham or anything like that. But there's people that talk that know people in the college football world that say that there's a little frustration with how Arizona State's dealing with the NIL stuff. Um, Going off of what Arkansas did, I think I could see that. Like that was the issue with Arkansas. They didn't dive in head first with it, and it cost them because Pittman can recruit now. He can recruit. How about this? Have you heard the buzz of Pittman potentially being on a staff at Oklahoma as in like an analyst role?
I mean, that's not buzz. That's just fans talking.
Yeah, but I mean, would you think that's a good hire?
Right now, no. Right now, no. I would not bring Sam Pittman in. If Kevin Wilson weren't around, it's a different conversation.
True, agreed
But
with that.
between Beatonbow, Kevin Wilson, Sam Pittman, at a certain point, you have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Totally agree with that. I also don't think Pittman's going to be leaving. Like, so his little is not little. He's got a lake house that's got like this hog. I want to know if he's going to do with that hog statue that overlooks the lake, Lake Hamilton out there in Hot Springs that we always see when we go by on our boat. It is huge, Parker. He's going to have to get rid of that unless he's Whoop Pig for life. But apparently that's where he's going to retire. So pretty cool deal. Um, the Green Arrow again said Bobby P rides again at Arkansas. Now that is true. Very true.
It depends on how the rest of the season goes. Because, like, if Petrino gets Arkansas winning, which is within the realm of possibility, I mean, that Arkansas roster doesn't suck.
No, it
It's a
doesn't.
far cry from a roster like Oklahoma State's, where, Oklahoma State will get lucky to win another game the remainder of the year. Arkansas could start winning
Yeah.
if Petrino whips them into shape and they're motivated. Because, I mean, it was clear with the Notre Dame game last week that team had just quit on Pittman, right? So
Hmm.
if Petrino can shock some life back into that program and string together 4 or 5 wins the rest of the way, get that team bowl eligible, maybe you come up with an upset win or two over ranked opponents, then I think there are plenty in and around the natural state that will clamor for Petrino to get the job on a permanent basis.
Yeah. So on the Oklahoma front, what would you consider a bad outcome against Kent State outside of losing? Obviously, that would be the worst thing possible. Lose to the worst team in college football.
And that is not possible.
It is not.
That's
So
that's just flat out not possible.
what is considered a bad outcome? We'll start with bad. What do you consider a bad outcome on Saturday? It's a tough
Well,
question. I thought about it all day. I was like, what would I consider a bad outcome?
right. I mean, just keep everybody healthy. I mean, that's the big thing.
Hmm.
As long as you don't lose anybody to injury, I'm content with whatever happens Saturday. It could be, like, honestly, it could be a 24-3 game. It could be a 54-3 game. And I will walk away feeling likely the exact same about Oklahoma's outlook going into the Texas game as long as they're fully healthy, as long as they
Hmm.
keep guys healthy and don't lose anybody to injury this weekend. There's not a whole lot that can happen in this game that will impact my perception of Oklahoma as a team.
So I disagree with that. I think, and there's a little caveat to why I disagree too. I agree, like holding the 3 points, whatever. If it's a ugly game on Oklahoma side offensively, I don't care if Material's not in there. I think that's because I think that highly of Michael Hawkins. That I think he can come in and run the offense, not just adequately, but really damn good. Um, if they look sluggish, if they do not look dominant on the offensive line, that to me is where I come away and go, okay, there's a problem. Now, granted, and this is where the caveat comes in, I understand they're probably not going to use Michael Hawkins in the way that he probably should be used with his legs. You don't want to injure him just in case Mateer is not available for Texas. You do not want to go in having as surprised as they've been of Whit Neubauer, Parker. You don't want to go in and he's starting like this is 2022 all over again, right? Like you don't want to do that. Um, I just they got to get the running game going with the offense. I think you have to get. I don't care who it is with Barnes. I don't care if it's Blaylock. I don't care if it's. I don't give two craps if it's X. I don't care. Somebody's got to get going at running back, and the offensive line has got to get pushing dudes back. If they don't do that with how good Texas's front is, how good their defense is, yeah, that's going to have me a little skittish. I don't care if Mateer's back or not. Are you going to run Mateer against Texas full blast after he comes back? Are you going to risk it? Like, there's a lot of things. That's why I think the running back run game is so important on Saturday. If it doesn't happen, yeah, that's bad to me. That's bad. I think the defense is going to win OU at least 8 games this year. If they want to get 9, 10, 11, the offense has got to start cooking, brother. And it's got to get a lot better. What would be a good outcome? And in the injuries, obviously, you don't want to, yeah, that's also bad. What would be a good outcome? Like, what would you walk away going? I know you said no matter what happens, you're not going to look any different, but there's got to be something that you look and go, oh, hell, that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, I mean, a good outcome would simply be take care of business the way that you should take care of business. Run the ball effectively, throw the ball
Mm,
effectively, force a turnover on defense, and win the way that the University of Oklahoma should win over Kent State.
yeah. Okay. On the okay, let's do this. How many yards does Jade not have? Let's play this game.
Gosh, you're gonna, man. I don't know if like how do you go too terribly high right now? Until we see it, I'm gonna say like 35. If Jaden Knott
35
gets past,
yards.
yeah, if Jaden Knott gets past 35 yards, great.
It's a
But
win.
I'm not going to bank on it, man. He had what, 9 yards against Illinois State? Or no, he had -3 yards against
Yeah,
Illinois State.
negative
He had
three
nine
against.
yards against Michigan.
Yeah. I'll I almost made a joke when you said 35 is good. I almost said that's been good all year for running backs if they go over 35. It was a joke. It's probably some validity to that actually. There's some truth behind that joke. Um yeah, I'll say, you know what? I'm gonna bold prediction this.
Okay.
I think he makes a I think he makes a big run. I think he has like a 40 plus yard run. So I'll say 76, random number, but I'll say 76 yards. I think he breaks one,
Okay.
given the chance. There's some hope out there, folks, that he does break it because I just want to see how good this guy really is. Everybody talks how good he is. Auburn people, when I talk to the Auburn reporters, like, dude, that guy's really good. Why is he not playing? Everybody, he's good. I don't understand it.
Because
Um,
Auburn saw him last year.
yeah, 2 years in a row,
Auburn
actually.
lost to Cal at
Hmm.
home last year.
Um,
Not great, Bob.
no,
Who's the one second teamer that you want to see the most,
that's a good
or
question.
third teamer? Because like I feel like that probably an easy answer is Elijah Thomas, right?
Hmm.
But man, I'm eager to see Caden Helms this weekend because he
Yeah,
looked
that would
so
be
good in
good.
fall camp for that broken hand, man.
Uh, yeah, Caden Helms. You know who I want to see? I don't know if he's ready to go. I want to see Taylor Tatum. I want to see him just touch the field. I mean, like, and not in warmups, like actual gameplay. Uh, but yeah, I think you're right on that. I think Elijah Thomas is the easy answer. So is Caden Helms. You know what? Check that. Danny Okoye.
Mm.
I want to see him actually go off. He's played, but like, I want to see him make a Danny Okoye play. One that we watched in high school where you're like, God dang, he's athletic. Um, oh yeah, well everybody says Giovanni Gibson, but I think Parker said backup. Giovanni's a
Yeah, well, and
starter.
I guess technically he'll be working in with the second team, but we all know what Giovanni Gibson is, right?
Yeah,
The Green Arrow with a $2 super chat wants to know, is Andy Bass still hurt? He's working back.
yeah.
He's working back.
So I guess another question. what about recruiting? Like, do we see Oklahoma? There's one. I think Oklahoma pop. I think pops for Oklahoma by potentially the end of the month.
I think by the end of the month, Oklahoma has Jacob Curry and Daniel McMorris both committed.
Okay.
That is my opinion on the matter.
I I won't dispute either one of them because Oklahoma leads for both. Um, I think, mind you, where I live, I think Gabriel Osborne's committed to Oklahoma before the middle of November,
Wow.
maybe sooner.
Put the RPM in.
I'm gotta talk to some people before I do it and get some approval. But yeah,
Boo.
I feel pretty strongly about what I know. So I just like he's supposed to be visiting Texas A&M this weekend. He'll probably get offered by A&M, and I would assume you'll probably start to see the likes of LSU, Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, everybody kind of start throwing their name in the hat. But he loves him some Oklahoma. They're like everything. They haven't really talked about the money aspect of it because he hasn't really had anything to talk about, right? Like if you're not going to commit, so we'll see. I think, but it's trending. It's trending. He wants to stay close to home. I do know that for the most part, but he also is enjoying a little bit of what's going on with him. But from what I was told, he sees the OK Preps movement in 2027, and it sounds like he kind of wants to get on board with that. So we'll see. We'll see. Mind you, where I live, I'm just telling you what it is, though. Um, I'm just happy for the kid Parker more than anything else. Like he deserves it, man. That kid, he's got a tough upbringing, so I'm happy for him. Uh, Outside of that, like in 2026, if you were to pick a position that ended up with an elite guy, let's say top 200 guy, and it was a flip, what position do you think it would be at in
Well,
26?
the safe answer is wide receiver, right?
I'll say O
Three
line.
options.
I'll say offensive line.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why you're acting surprised. There's about 3 or 4 options out there right now that Oklahoma is quietly maneuvering around, and they're doing their due diligence. So, um, at the end of the day, do you think Oklahoma finally gets a turnover this weekend?
Yes. I think the drought ends against Kent State. It should end
God,
against Kent State. Should have ended against Auburn, but Peyton Bowen
this
dropped
should
the
have
pick and
ended
Kendall
multiple
Daniels dropped the pick.
times, Parker. How many? I think I've counted like
They dropped two
6.
picks.
Yeah, but I'm talking on the season. I think they've dropped close to 6, like where it was actively almost in their hands. It's 5 or 6 that have been not like almost not like drops, but like where they should have picked it off and didn't. They weren't paying attention, or they got on it a little late. Like they should have had the interception. And what is it, like 3 forced fumbles that they haven't recovered this year, right? The strip sack they didn't get
There's
back.
been, yeah, at least one. I can remember the Temple one.
Was there not one against? There was one against Michigan, right?
Was there? I don't
I
recall.
feel like there was a fumble. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. Maybe I'm misremembering. But um, yeah, I don't know. Uh, I agree. I think they'll get 2 or 3. I would love for them just go for it. They had a drought all season, and then all of a sudden, it's like the Temple game last year, where they had 6 turnovers in one game, and it's just a turnover fest to catch back up. They go from being last in FBS and turnovers to like top 50 in one game. Be pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. How excited are you for next week?
It's the best day of the year. Always.
I'm so
And it's going to
jacked,
be a
dude.
great one next Saturday.
So jacked for next week. The content, I just want to tell everybody the content that's going to be on next week for YouTube is going to be Chef's Kiss for you guys. So pay attention, subscribe to this YouTube, subscribe to the podcast because almost everything will be audio and video. So we do that every big game. We put as much as we can on both so that nobody misses out. So a lot of uh, behind enemy lines. I'm trying to get a special guest that has been in around at least 30 OU Texas games, like actively in it though, like actively in it. Um, and get some really cool stories and Q&A with them. The behind enemy lines may be one of the most, if we can line it up, Parker, could be one of the most hate watched behind enemy lines of all time. So we're working on some things, folks. We're working on some things. But having said that, that's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live powered by Riverwind Casino. Again, if you're not subscribed to this YouTube, if you're not subscribed to our Twitter, if you're not subscribed to whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on, make sure you podcast. And for those that are like, well, this is a live, it is, but people get to listen to it afterwards and watch it afterwards. So make sure you're subscribe. If you're a college student with a .edu, if you're a teacher with a teacher's email, if you're active duty with an active duty email us ouinsider@rivals.com. We will send you a promo code to get OU Insider VIP for $1 a month for 3 months. That is an amazing deal. It'll get you all the way through dang near the season, all the way up to the SEC championship game, bowl season, national signing day, all that type of stuff. It's worth it. I promise you. Thank you to all the OU fans that have been signing up. It's been an amazing month. So thank you. You guys have been awesome. The board is hopping and it's awesome. Content galore. I'm going to have my 2027 class predictions coming out over the next few days. So working on that. Hope to get that done at least by Monday at the latest. I'll have it out to you guys. It's going to be a fun little piece for you guys. We put up our prediction for 2026. I just did that this past week. Talked about who Oklahoma's in on, all that type of stuff. That's the content you get. Parker has an amazing story right now on Jaden Knt as well. Like, if you want to hear the backstory about how everybody saw him as a tight end, or one person in particular saw him as a tight end, while everybody else saw him as a linebacker, in the story of just redemption for Jaden Knt and all that. It's a very well written human interest piece that you need to go check out on OU Insider VIP. Well done by Parker there. Just a lot of content, VIP chats, all that type of stuff. So you can go to OU Insider right now. You click on that green button, you sign up. You can get $1 for the first week. Or, and you also get The Athletic complimentary of On3 and OU Insider for a whole year if you sign up right now. So you get $1 a week. If you don't like us, we think you will. It's easy to click. It's one click, cancel, all that type of stuff. But you get The Athletic for a whole year complimentary as well. It's a 2-for-1 deal. Make sure you go sign up, man. OUinsider.com. All right. For Parker Thune, for Spencer Forsythe, my name is Brandon Drum. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live powered by Riverwind Casino. You guys have a blessed night.